just a sham.
1, 2, 3, go.
That was great.
It is. It's like the Senate.
How about that answer?
What? He can throw
All
all
recognized.
Who wants to start? I guess this is as organized as it gets. All right, who wants to start? Does everybody have their
These questions are aimed
Should we
for
get
Seth.
questions together since there's a microphone?
Wait, should we all yell? But yeah, you're
Passive.
all the questions are going to be for you.
Well, I'm here from gingerblog.com. It's a site aimed for redheads and people that love us. And so these are all in for you, Seth. So, what's been your favorite person? What's been your favorite person to work with on Reluctant?
Say that again?
Who's your favorite person to work with on Reluctant? Like all the celebrities. And
Oh, the actors you mean?
Yeah.
It was pretty awesome to get Don Knotts and Paparino. That was when Paparino drove me and Matt to the airport in Las Vegas. I was like, how are you guys getting back to the airport? And we were like, well, we're probably taking it. I was like, I get in the car, I'll take it.
Are there any good redheads?
Well, that was one of my questions.
Tom has a journalist background.
Adrian Palicki just dyed her hair red. I mean, that probably doesn't count.
Imitation is the greatest form of flattery.
There you go.
I'm sure there's an organic redhead.
There's gotta be.
Oh, Jamie Kaler. Jamie Kaler, who played our bloopers host.
Oh, nice.
Oh, right.
He's kind of a sandy blonde redhead.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Did you ever get Felicia Day?
Huh?
Did you ever get Felicia Day, or is that target for future?
Have you had Felicia Day ever do voices?
Huh?
Have you had Allison Haney on?
No, and this was an embarrassing thing. Like somebody said, "Oh, you've had everybody on Buffy except Allison." I was like, "No, we had Ellie on the show on." And then I just ran into her at the Emmys, and the first thing I said to her was, "I realized that I've never hired you on the show, and I'm so embarrassed, and I can't wait to bring you on the next season." And she was like, "Yeah, I noticed."
That's awesome. We definitely look forward to that. What's your favorite role that you played? Period.
This one, interview with Long Beach Comic Con.
That's
okay. And then your struggles. What are some of the struggles between a redhead and show business?
Struggles? People thinking that you can't play someone tan. I don't know.
Beach scenes?
Eric Stoltz does a pretty good job. Paul Bettany does pretty well. I mean, you know, we got numbers.
Okay. Now, any redhead you could work with, dead or alive?
Rita Hayworth.
Lucille Ball.
Madeline Kahn.
All right. Well,
Jesus had no black hair.
here, so I'll let them pick it first.
Okay. Who else has got a question?
You talk a little bit about coming to Long Beach for a comic show.
Oh yeah, we took 710, 405, and then we took the Seaside. Was that what it was? Like Seaside exit?
I got stuck on Long Beach Boulevard, and they've got to synchronize those stoplights. Because that was like a half-hour excursion.
You know what I noticed about Long Beach Comic Con is they put the artist row in the middle, and that's awesome because I think it's been we've been to several cons, and lately there doesn't seem to be about comic books so much anymore. Really cool to see the artists focused on here today.
Although there were no Magic the Gathering cards,
Yeah, what up?
not a lot of 3 3/4 figures.
But Hugh did get this for his It's slobbering time!
That's right, she'll be happy.
She can't read.
She can slobber though.
Yeah. What else? All right, thanks everybody. You, Nightwing, what do you got?
We talked about Magic the Gathering so much. Like, how long have you been playing?
All right, now here's the crazy thing, dude. I just learned to play recently. It was something that I avoided steadfastly because I'm not good at cards or math. But my girlfriend and all of my friends love to play games, and I really hate to be excluded.
Except if you turn around and smile for a second, you and Nightwing.
You want a better picture than that?
Kind of, yeah.
Wait, I want to know what press you're representing. As Nightwing.
Come right in front of the camera, he can get it, I can get it, we're all
Do you want to punch me in the face? Like,
Let's trade blows.
No, you're killing the moment, there's no authenticity now.
You know my face, I'm
You're not even a photographer anymore.
I know. Nightwing, look at me! Nightwing, look at me! Oh my God.
awkward.
I
That's like a Dagwood awkward sandwich.
It was.
I mean, that's the truth, though. We're all building decks. Hugh has a vicious sliver deck. Doug beat my deck like in the dirt. It was horrible.
So who's the best player?
Well, it really depends on who's
Doug
got what.
Goldstein.
I will say this: is Rebecca in the room?
Yeah, his wife,
Where's
right.
Rebecca?
Rebecca won the tournament.
Tonight.
Hold on. She owes my wife a rematch. Double elimination tournament. She only played once. Doug is an expert at this game. Edited the Wizard magazine about. You can talk anytime, Doug.
I just love beating decks. Anyone? Beat deck?
Oh, God. Doug, you can't talk anytime.
And this is why nobody really wants to come to any of our parties. Because they're just this.
Next question, Doug.
This and
He's
pizza.
got one.
Doug!
Yes, you Nightwing.
Do you ever have like a stuntman? You do all your own stuff? Or,
Say that again.
like a stuntman or someone that
You have
fills
a
in for
Do you
you?
have a stunt
Do
double?
His name is Jamie Kennedy.
Like,
It's David Faustino. You might know him very shortly. Well, I mean, depending on what I'm working on, they usually hire a stunt guy. But I've had some awesome stunt guys beat me in some really scary stuff and be amazing.
I can speak to this a little bit. I think it was 1998, I get a phone call, and it's Seth. And I'm like, how you doing, man? He's like, I'm like, what's the matter? He's like, I've spent all day suspended in the air, banging into a cow. What? I spent what part of the sentence didn't you understand? Every part of it. What are they paying you for?
I was nearly decapitated making rat rings. There was a scene where I'm hanging from a rope from a hot air balloon and I'm like banging into stuff.
A cow.
Well, yeah, a cow, but an animatronic cow that was anchored into the ground with 3-foot rail spikes.
Oh,
Right? So that thing's not moving. And me, I'm in a harness like up my sleeve on this thing that's picked into my shoulder, and I'm hanging from the thing, and I'm on a 100-foot crane that is like, it sways, so it has to stop all the way, and then it sort of goes, and they didn't realize from the way they measured the distance of my position to the ground, that the ground was uneven, like significantly uneven in several places. So I'm coming in way too low on the cow, and instead of hitting it with my knees, our faces hit each other, and then my head goes under its head, but my arm is continuing to be pulled by the crane. So now I am, with my neck, wrenching this cow out of the ground with 3-foot rail spikes. Luckily, my stuntman ran in, got my head out from under there, and then I flew like another 80 feet. And everyone was like, "Oh, what happened?"
Very, very helpful stunt, man.
Yeah.
Should have been doing this.
Saved my life.
What about-
And WWF, WWE.
I was saying,
WWE? Yeah. No, I did all my own stunts in WWE.
what about Mars Needs Moms?
No, Jason did. Well, he did I did a bunch of scary stuff, but he did the blind fall, and then he did. It was like a vertical drop, and he had to do it 12 times. And the cool thing is, if you watch the playback, you can see where he's like aware of his position in the fall, and it looks crazy. But when you look, you can see him like put a foot right here. And
Tell me what Martin's Moms is.
well, but if you guys want a really exciting thing, the guy Jason, who was my stuntman in this movie that you'll see in 2011. Runs the pirate version of Medieval Times. Directly across from Medieval Times. And I will just say, we had a friend's birthday there the other night, and it was awesome. Awesome. If you like pirates, if you like dinner, this is the place for you. What do you got?
It was actually for Dan. You talked about the Titan Maxima and the new show on MTV. Do you have any expectations for those shows? And,
Wild success!
All I can do is sit back and hope they work out good. With Warren the Ape, we're really pleased to do another, Greg the Bunny inspired show. This will be, if you count public access, this will be the 5th Greg the Bunny show that's been made based on those characters. And we just got a writer named Bill Freiberger to come in. We worked with him on the Fox show, and he's working with Spencer Shenoy and Sean Baker, who are the co-creators of that, to do this puppet reality show. And with Titan Maximum, it looks like the early ratings are good. Adult Swim has asked for additional episodes to start being scripted, and if things continue to go well, hopefully those will get produced and turn into a bigger order. It's really fun to be able to actually be part of a robot chicken-based show that actually can tell a story now every week, as opposed to just the short form sketches. So that's fun too. So thanks for asking. I mean, just all you can do, like I think one of you said earlier, is you put this stuff out there and you kind of cross your fingers and hang on for the ride and hope it connects with people. So, I mean, we just love the chance to be able to do this stuff again in any form.
You, sir, with the yellow.
I have a question about Titan Maximum as well. I'm trying to get it out because I'm kind of nervous. I watched the pilot on AdultSwim.com, and I noticed that the ending song was actually Japanese, or apparently Japanese, and I saw a lot of anime influence in the show. I wanted to know what was the reason for that and where that came from, I guess.
The song specifically?
Yeah, I guess I could say the song, but the reason why, like,
well,
I guess.
Like, all the good robot shows come from Japan,
Yeah.
so we sort of wanted to tap into that. Our show's not really a parody of anime.
Yeah.
Like, it's sort of stylized, in a way that anime is stylized, but we just really wanted to put a bunch of characters with sort of robot chicken type voices into the roles of those pilots. And the comedy comes from there.
But it's meant to be authentic. Like it's meant to be a show that people who've never seen anime or who love anime could watch, and it's in that same vein, but it's not. It's funnier.
I think it was really genius.
Robotech was never funny.
I think it was really smart about the way that Tom wrote it is that in a way it's like sort of like the Batman Begins of a giant robot show. You know what I mean? It's like how would this be in the real world? How would this actually work in the real world? So that the jokes are kind of out of the interplay of the characters, and it's not like we're kind of make fun of something or something like that. Like it's like we actually really care about those characters, and I think you'll see when you see the arc of the season. It's like there's the humor is earned, but there's also like drama that carries you and action and stuff like that. I mean, I think it's like I think it's a really amazing ride. And I think, again, the construction that Tom put into it is like genius.
Thank you. That song, the only reason the song's in Japanese is because we used a Japanese anime end theme song for our temp music. When we were cutting it together, we used an Evangelion song. And it was so cheerful, and a lot of those episodes end so dark, that we sort of fell in love with that dynamic. We wanted a really chirpy, peppy.
What did she say when she came and read the lyrics?
She said, I said, our singer speaks Japanese, and I wrote the song, and I don't speak Japanese. So I pulled all the lyrics off of a Japanese 101 website.
Well, you wrote it in English and then had it translated.
No, I went to the website and I said, what are some phrases in Japanese that are sort of a certain number of syllables, and how can I turn them into a story? I didn't know what the song was at first.
There's a website for that?
Oh yeah. I went to like a karate website that had all sorts of combat maneuvers and what they were called, and one of them is Rising Punch. Is some sort of combat move, and so the name of the song is Rising Punch, and it's all just Japanese that I cobbled together. And our singer came in, who speaks fluent Japanese, and she was like, she didn't really understand what it was, so I guess I failed on some level. But when I explained it to her, she was like, I guess that makes sense. This word's wrong, but the rest of it is all right. And she went for it, and it sounds authentic, even if it's gibberish.
Yes,
Okay.
in the ring back.
Yeah. On the production side, how long does it take you to do a stop motion, and how many artists do you employ? And how many can you crank out in a year?
Yeah.
What's your order?
Well, the order for a show like Robot Chicken was 20 episodes. We produced that in 11 months, start to finish. We employ between 80 and 90 people at any given time in all different roles. The way that it gets done as efficiently as it does is it's all under one roof. So from writing to post, recording, everything is done in the same place, and that way you got oversight over all these different areas instead of farming them out. And wait, you had
It takes a long time to do a minute. How many
well,
artists do you
I mean, you amortize that value over time just based on what you can spend in pre-production and how much you can get done in advance. So we typically have 5 episodes filming concurrently, and that way you can maximize the usage of any given stage without having to relight it. You just bring in your puppets and say, okay, this is a scene from this angle, instead of having to break down an entire set and then relight it and set everything up, which takes a lot of time. We have between 14 and 15 animators working simultaneously. and they average between 6 and 30 seconds a day, depending on the complication of their shot.
Wow, great.
We make this show on Coraline's catering budget.
Yeah, and coming from Disney, we can do a minute in a week. That takes how long,
We can do a show in a week.
with about 40 artists. So, good job.
So where did you guys come up with the idea for Robot Chicken?
It's sort of so reverse engineered. I just didn't want to do a chat show. Like I was trying to avoid coming on a chat show and being like, hey, my new movie, this and that. And I knew that Conan had an action figure made of him by Hasbro as part of some promotional thing. And I had the Austin Powers figure coming out. And I was like, wouldn't it be fun if I just made a short about our toys, saving the world? So I called my buddy Matt, who is the editorial director of Wizard Publications, and employed both Tom and Doug and Mike. Weren't you there too? Yeah. And then we were like, let's make this short. And around that time, Sony, which was kind of ahead of the curve of the YouTube portal destination for video content, was trying to put together linear content for the web, but it was pre-broadband. So no one had the access to any of these programs, but they basically financed 12 shorts, anywhere from a minute to 6 minutes long. And then we cut those together as a pilot and took it around everywhere from, sci-fi to NBC, and everyone was like, so finally, Family Guy had been purchased by the Adult Swim for reruns, and Seth MacFarlane said, if you guys are still looking for an outlet for that show, you should talk to these two guys, Mike Lazo and Keith Crawford. So Matt and I went and had a meeting with them, where Keith stood behind Mike Lazo like this,
Like
didn't say a word, just straight didn't say a word. And Lazo, with no shoes on, said, I don't like stop motion, but y'all are funny. And Matt and I walked out of that meeting and go, does that mean we have a show? Is that what that means? And then, yeah, we have a show, so everybody moved out. That's how it happened. Although I will give Doug credit, when we were trying to figure out how to sequence all the things together, how to make all the sketches fit together, he said there should be a burst of static in between them, like a flip of the channel.
It was really bugging me that we just had a series of jokes and what happens between them. And it was either that or the all about symbol comes in.
But two things happened simultaneously. Doug talked about the device of the channel flips, and we settled on the name Robot Chicken, which gave birth to that opening sequence, which ties in all the channel flips.
I was not part of that process, but I was, obviously friendly with everybody and watched them desperately trying to come up with titles, Junk in the Trunk or The Toy Chest or, all this stuff. Everything sounded, and every day that they would meet, they would order Chinese food and order Robot Chicken. So every time they sat down, it was with, a bowl of Robot Chicken. So eventually that just...
But if you look at the first season, all the episode titles are rejected titles for the show.
It turns out that everything has been copyrighted. Everything.
Yeah, anything you can conceive of as a title of something somewhere.
Yeah, so I don't know how many shows even get on the air.
Handlebar Boogie is probably somebody owns that. Yeah.
I think it's actually it's a show about sinus infections.
Lug Nut Asphalt, Power Hour,
Werewolf versus unicorn.
Yeah. And then, how did you guys manage to get Les Claypool to do the
that was really cool. We reached out to him, and he was like, yeah, all right. And then I wound up having a bunch of conversations with him about what we wanted it to be. And he submitted something, and we were like, this is pretty close to what we want. Just can you do this and add this and add this? And he was like, yeah. There. I know, lucky us.
Hi there. You mentioned Family Guy briefly, and I couldn't help but the season show. This came on, of course, Stewie and Brian are both flipping through universes. And I couldn't help but laugh extremely out loud at the Family Guy instance, the Family Guy universe that you jumped into. Did you guys have input on
Robot Chicken universe?
No, I'll tell you, the people that animated were actually a company called Screen Novelties, which were the same people that helped us make our show from the very beginning. Mark Caballero, Seamus Walsh, and Chris Finnegan, their company's called Screen Novelties. Their company animated that, but they did all of our Sweet J stuff. They did our whole first season. Mark was the animation director on Star Wars. We love those guys, and they're awesome.
Yeah, no, because I noticed you make jokes about that quite often on Family Guy.
Although I will tell you, behind the scenes story, there was a debate in Family Guy because they couldn't clear any of the Hasbro properties through parody because there was not any transformative usage, fair use, First Amendment case for it. They were making a joke about Robot Chicken, saying, Transformers, He-Man, Thundercats, G.I. Joe, those shows existed, but that's not enough to show copyrighted trademark material on television. So we actually put them in touch with Brian Goldberg, who's the CEO of Hasbro. I was like, Brian, the Family Guy people want to do some big thing. What do you say about that? And he's like, yeah, I'll write that. So I felt really cool being able to help.
That's completely excellent. I mean, you just about creating a seminar based on how to get all these trademark infringements. Honestly, trust me, you'd be helping a lot of indie people out if you did that. Great stuff. Thank you.
Thanks, man. Wait, you in the steampunk alley? You had your
I just wanted to see if I could have a small request. My boyfriend bailed on me last minute. And
oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. How are you doing with it?
He's
You'll find another guy.
He did himself a hero because he didn't get to see you because he's like, I'm in the robot chicken panel. And he's like, oh no,
I hate those guys. I'm playing fantasy football.
And so I wanted to know if I could call him and put you on the phone with him.
Well, you want me to talk to him?
Yeah.
You want to do favors for the guy that ditched you? We should just take awesome pictures with all of us and then show them to him. Be like, sorry.
Yeah. I'll do that too, but I want to freak him out on the phone, and then because he won't be expecting that.
Right. Do you want to throw him on speaker so we can all hear?
Yeah.
Okay. What's his name?
Jose.
Jose. What's your name?
Francis.
Francis. Okay. Wait, don't even tell him. No, come here. Okay. Just put him on speaker, then we'll talk right as it answers. Francis. Hey, Jose.
Hi there.
Hey, what's up, man? This is Seth Green. I'm here with all the people that make Robot Chicken and the entire press corps. We just want to say,
Francis is beautiful.
Totally lame. Bailing on Francis. Totally lame, dude.
Come here, Francis.
Wait, no, Kevin, don't do that with all these cameras.
Come here, Francis.
No, that's so rude.
Yes.
Your boyfriend right now.
Yes.
What I'm saying, Jose, is don't ever let your woman go anywhere by herself.
It had the exact opposite. It likes you more now. Is he Bizarro?
All right, well, good talking to you. Anything you want to say to the press corps? The stars in your eyes, boy. We've got your woman. Right on, man. Nice chatting with you. Okay, here she is.
Yay!
Okay, bye. We got 2 minutes, and then we're gonna wrap it up. If there are any other questions, we got about 2 minutes.
As far as questions I have, you guys mentioned that the artist show. Is there anything different in this Comic-Con that you guys experienced here than you guys had before?
I mean, it's less crowded than San Diego or New York. But there's less.
It is less though.
Yeah, it is less. Yeah.
It brought a warm feeling to me. It reminded me when I was a kid going from, on Long Island. It was just very, very manageable. And I saw my local comic book guy here, and he didn't go to the others. He's like, it's getting too much. It's getting, comics are becoming like second tier. So I'm just going to keep talking because I enjoy you throwing
Tell us about the old days, Uncle Kevin. What was it like when you played with wooden toys?
Can I have some hot cocoa while you talk, Kevin?
Yes,
Although I could listen to your voice all day.
Aw,
Kevin, will you do like a radio shout out, like you were a DJ? You gotta hear how awesome Kevin's voice is.
Oh, I don't know about that.
From San Diego.
This is WROT. Say hello to Seth Green and the crew from Robot Chicken. The important thing is the hand over the ear.
Oh, wait.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I learned that from Celine Dion.
You gotta get your chest really hard.
That's
Yeah.
true. She really is spectacular.
We have.
Yes, you said.
What are some of the challenges you face working with like custom models for Titan Maximum as opposed to like the toys for Robot Chicken?
I mean, honestly, it's a little bit easier making something from scratch than it is to hybrid something that is an actual toy. With Titan, you got to design everything from body type to the clothing. And Tom and I actually spent several days together just figuring out how the color broke down on the robot. So I mean, in that respect, it's a lot easier because you don't have any real creative limitations.
A lot more control.
But it was more difficult because you're making something from scratch, and you learn along the way what does and doesn't work.
And we also made it 12-inch scale, specifically so that we could, if we had to, go to the store and find something that was a prop or something like that we wouldn't have to build that was in scale, for the puppets. I mean, we try to do something like that. So.
There's a ton of manufactured miniatures that aren't from like a specific company. You can use those instead of having to craft them yourselves. Mostly available in toys.
Leather jackets and things like that.
And I hate to break you guys, but I know that you guys have to go. At the press corps, thank you very much for coming.